Morning class.
Good morning, sir.
Kamusta yung internet nyo? Malakas naman?
Okay naman.
Okay, sige. Kasi yung PLDT ngayon nagluloko eh. Diba?
Apo, sir. Wala ata internet connection sa 25 eh. Sa T30.
Pero sabi tuloy pa rin daw eh. Tuloy pa rin yung online classes. Kaso, yun nga mahina. Meron pa rin silang service kasi mahina. Tulog pa ata yung mga klase niya. Pag umaga talaga, tulog pa no?
Oo nga, sir eh. Mga nga pa mamaya. Meron na yan, sir.
Umayang hapon, marami tayo. May pala tayo no, 2 to 3 and 3 to 4.
Apo, sir. Meron.
So, para next week, wala na kayong Zoom. Every na. Diba? Diba nakaraan, meron kayong every week meron kayo, diba? So,
Meron po.
Thursday yung isa, diba? So, ngayon, yung Thursday na yun, load natin ngayon ng Friday. Para yung load nyo, isahan na lang. Para makatipid. Tapos yung alam mo na yung bibigay na pang load ng nanay, no? Kukupit. Joke lang.
Gawain ni Sir kumukupit.
Hindi.
Dating gawain, no?
Ilan ba kayong ilan kayo dito sa creative writing?
Madami kami dito sa creative writing.
Okay. Kasi yung gas tsaka yung magsama, di ba?
Pogi natin, sir, ngayon ah.
Pangit yan, pangit.
Pogi natin.
Mas maganda yung kulitan pag face-to-face classes. Diba? Kita yung mga kakulitan eh. Eh, dito mga pag...
Baka next year, sir.
Na,
Baka next year.
next year. Wala na kayo nun dito. Graduate na kayo nun. Nasa college na kayo, di ba?
Oo nga eh. Pwede, habol, mga March.
Baka hindi pa tapos yun. Malakas ba yung boses ko? Sakto lang.
Sakto lang, sir. Pwede na yan. Repeat pa.
Sino ba to? Sorry, hindi ko pa kayo kilala eh. Pero soon makilala ko rin kayo. Kaya hihingi pa ako ng record about sa mga names nyo. Kaya, reminders
Pwede
pala.
kami
May ingay yan,
magpakilala
sir.
ngayon, sir.
Ha?
Pwede
May
kami
ingay yan, sir.
magpakilala
Hindi na.
ngayon.
Isa lang. Do it eh.
May ingay yan, sir. Di nakikinig ng lesson. Mahirapan ka kakasabay, sir. May ingay.
Hindi yan, kaya yan. Ano ba? About sa yun. Diba, kayo diba? ABC. 3 section kayo diba?
Opo, sir.
Sino yung nasa B? Advisory ko yung B, diba? Sa akin yun. Hindi ko pa kasi masyadong kabisado eh.
Di ba ikaw yung pumalit, sir, kay Sir Nacario?
Yes po.
Sa B. B. Kami yun, sir.
Kayo yun?
Opo, sir.
Okay. May GC ba kayo sir, dati?
Dati? Meron, sir.
Sariling account niya? Meron?
Wala naman, sir. Lahat naman GC kasali.
Okay.
Yung mga teacher eh.
Sige. Kasi yung dati nagtuturo ako, may GC kami sa kasama ko. Then students, gano'n. Then, tinanong ko lang kasi baka mamaya meron silang ganun. Diba? So,
Dati meron, sir. Ngayon wala.
wala.
Parang di na active, sir.
Okay. So, di pa tayo makapag-start. Ang continue pa lang. Try nyo yung mga classmates nyo.
Nasa GC din naman yun eh. Makikita din naman nila.
So, ulitin ko pasensyahan nyo na yung minsan pupronounce ako ng medyo di ba? Kasi Bisaya eh. Minsan hindi ko napipigilan. Pero I try hard. Ganun. Trying hard to speak
Yo,
English in fluent and exact pronunciation. So,
di okay lang yun, sir. Maintindihan.
because I'm teaching is a math talaga. Math numbers, diba? Hindi ka nagkakamali sa numbers eh. Sino ba yung mga dito? Mga accountancy, ABM. Kayo yun.
ABM? Hindi. Gas kami, sir.
Ay, gas pala kayo.
Gas ako, sir.
Mga pala. So, wala pa kayong ah, mga napipiling mga subject mga course na
Pang math. May YEMS ba? Sorry.
meron daw. Magsalita naman kayo, wag kayong mahiya. Hindi pa naman tayo nag-start eh. Tsaka pala pag mag-start na, paki-off yung mga video nyo. Baka magaya kahapon na may background. Alam nyo yun? May background.
Alam ko yan, sir.
Kaya,
Anong profile lang yun, sir? Profile.
hindi, may daw kahapon na may nagbibigay sa likod. Pero, kaya ngayon, if during discussion, so paki-off na yung video nyo, hindi manood na lang. Ay, makinig na lang kayo ha. Kasi baka maulit yung kahapon, may nagbibihis daw sa likod ng diba? Hindi natin ini-names. Kasi mahirap na. Diba? Kaya dapat off na lang natin, hindi makinig na lang.
Okay, sir. Baka ititrat tayo, sir?
Ano pa rin ba? Pa rin ba?
Aimon,
Oh.
Gumaganda si Gian, no?
Yung marami yung topic natin ngayon, medyo mahaba. Start ko na kaya.
Bakit?
Habol na lang yung iba. Okay?
Sige, sir. Start muna.
Off ko lang yung video ko kasi hindi ko makita yung mukha ko.
Sige lang, sir.
Okay, let's start. So, once again, good morning everyone. So, we're gonna tackle about the modeling from known local and the foreign poetry writers. So, this will be your second quarter. Okay, so we have an examples of symbolism in literature. So our main topics about literature, diba? William Blake goes symbolic in his poem or poem, A Sunflower, he says. So, A Sunflower by William Blake. So we read this one is a poem. So let's start. It reads for poem. This is sunflower, weary of time, who countest the steps of the sun, seeking after that sweet golden clime where the traveler's journey is done. So Blake uses a sunflower as a symbol for human beings, and sun symbolizes as life. They This line symbolic refer their life cycle and their yearning a never-ending life. So Blake, uh, he relate the human life for a sunflower because when a sunflower becomes older, so the seeds of the sunflower gonna grow again. Okay, so evolving is a life cycle. Next, next is by Wild Asters by Sarah Tisdale. Okay. In the spring, I asked the disease if his words were true, and their clever, cleared-eyed disease always knew. Now the fields are brown and barren, wetter autumn blows, and of all the stupid asters, not one knows. So, what do you think? What Sarah compares this poem to real life? So let's check. In the above lines, spring and this is symbolic of youth. So it's symbolic about us because you belong to youth. And brown and barren are symbolized transition from youth to old age. So transition from youth to old age. That is brown and barren. And moreover, featheral tone symbolize death. So you're started with the youth and to become older, and next that after they become older and older, and the times come you become you're going to die or dead. Okay. The next one is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it been in the undergrowth. Okay? So the roads means emerge when speaker is standing but lead to different directions. So there was a uh, path in life. So Frost begins with metaphorical meaning as an early first line with this reference. And Yellowwood, it is a forest during fall. Okay, so it relate about the forest of nature. Okay, so the last one, not the last one again. So my last farewell by Dr. Jose Rizal. So Rizal, say decided before they die. Farewell, their fatherland, line the sun carries trail of the Orient seas. Our Eden lost. Gladly now I go to give thee this faded life's best, and wear it brighter, fresher, or more blessed. Still would I give it thee, nor count the cost. So say Rizal, image I don't that used for line symbolize the liberation that he orders. In the third and fourth line, so third and fourth line, he says that if the color of liberation lacks his blood, he must die for the country to acquire freedom. So he did not escape for that one because he accepted to the punishment. And pasasalamat kay nanay. Okay? So, sa tuwing sasapit ang pitsang ito, lumulukso sa tuwa ang puso ko. Kung magagawa ko lang, duputin ito at ialay sa nag-iisa kong mahal na nanay. So, the lines from the poem expressed exaggeration, a literary device called hyperbole. So, it calls hyperbole because it's not really true. It's because of the word dukutin ito. Okay? So, you cannot take your heart because if you take your heart, you're going to die, diba? You're going to die. So the author wanted to convey a grateful was when the special day for her mother will come. Okay? So let's proceed to the next one for imagery examples in literature. So by Romeo and Juliet. Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night, like a rich jewel in a beautiful ear. So when you read this one, it is jewel, hindi jewel, diba? Jewelry, hindi siya ganun. Hindi siya ganun if you pronounce this one is jewel. So Romeo praised Juliet by saying that she appears more radiant. So for this or imagery, he described about the self of Juliet. Okay. Oh, I just wait, this one. To autumn by John Pitts. Or sinking as the light when lights or dies. And full-grown lambs, loud beat from Hellborn. Caged crickets sing, and now with treble soft, the red-breast whistles from a garden rock, and gathering swallows twitter in skies. So it says, when the word this one is vessels, it means the bird or the animal sounds above the excerpt as appealing to our sense of hearing. So for this imagery, uh, describe about the animals that in the garden. That is all about for imagery. And let's proceed to the next one. And this imagery, it is a depicting the dampness of clothes in the above lines, convey a sense of chilly sensation that we get from the quick clothes. So, uh, he image the clothes that become wet. So that is all about with this imagery. So now let's proceed to examples of simile in literature. So what are the things that we know that is simile? The word like and as. Okay, so we read this one. Oh, my love's like a red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. So Robert Burns uses a simile to describe the beauty of his beloved or beloved. He says that his love is fresh, a fresh red rose that blossom in the spring. So, uh, kung sa Tagalog po sa atin, is say that ito yung you describe your girlfriend, how she is, and kung paano mo siya nahangaan, diba? Or sa boys, ganun din. Same lang. Same. Okay. So next is by William Wordsworth. So I wandered lonely as a cloud that flows on high over vales and hills. So it is also an example of simile because the word of as. So this invention himself as a free cloud that floats alone in a blue sky. So by choosing this simile, Wordsworth described his loneliness. So he described what he feel about his mind, and he want to express for that stressful loneliness. Right? So we proceed to sonnet. So it is a significant thing to consider this that at times simile is drawn without using the words as or like. So in sonnet, you cannot, there's no as or like. So let's consider this following. Shall I compare that? Shall I compare thee a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rock winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summers less hot, all too short a day. Sometime too hot, the eye of heaven shines, and often is gold completion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes deslines. So in the first line, Shakespeare poses a question if he should compare his beloved to a summer's day. So in the first line, okay, summer's day. So for his beloved, she compared the day in its summer, and he rejects this idea and says that his beloved is better than that. So this is an example of an extended simile. It's an example of again, extended simile. We cannot use a as or like, but this is also a simile. But for the simple simile, we we determine directly if there is a as or like. But this one, there's no as or like. But if you understand the whole a, a paragraph, it is also an example of simile. Okay, so the next is examples of non-conventional forms of literature. So first, we have free verse. Free verse form has not a no set meter. That is to say, there is no rhyming, train, present, and the poem doesn't follow a set pattern. For some poets, this characteristic serves as a handy tool for the purpose of camouflaging their fluctuation of thoughts, whereas others think that it affects the quality of work being presented. So this is the example of non-conventional voice forms in literature. So there is no rhyming and shame presented, and the poem doesn't follow a set pattern. Okay, so this is the example. The After the Sea Ship by Whitman. After the sea ship, after the whistling winds, after the white great sails, taut, taut to their spars and ropes, below a merry waves, hastening, lifting up their necks, tending in ceaseless flow toward the track of the ship. waves of the ocean, bubbling and gurgling, lightly pine waves, undulating waves, liquid, uneven, emulous waves toward that whirling current, laughing and buoyant, with curves where the great vessel sailing and tacking displays the surface. So, as can see from the stanza quote above, there is an absence of rhyming. So, there is no rhyming and scheming presented. So, and there is no pawn pattern. So, kaya nga siya, yeah, it is tongue twister, C shape. And uh, identify that one, okay? So, and the last one is Fog by Carl Sandburg. So the fog comes on little cat feet. It is looking over harbor and city on silent hunches and then moves on. So it can be observed that there is a new form of rhyme and string presented in this verse. So wala, parang in the other word, wala siyang kabuhay-buhay, di ba? Parang binasa mo lang siya, you spoke them very uh, fluent lang. Uh, okay, so let's proceed to wala. Wala siya. Yeah. So this for the week 12. So for week 12, it is all about writing great fiction. Oh, sorry, I pronounced it a bad ways. Hopefully you can understand that one. Okay, so let's start. The elements of fiction. What is fiction? Fiction is make believe invented stories. They may be short stories, fables, vignettes, plays, novelas for Spanish, or novels. Although writers may base a character on people they have met in real life. The characters and the experiences that the character faces in the story are not real. So character. This is the person, animals, inanimate objects such as transformers, and natural and supernatural, like natural, what we call that, and supernatural. We have superpowers and possess life and give to the story. So there is the types of a character. First is a protagonist. This is the character around whom the story revolves, also called a hero or heroine. Is a traditionally or conventionally an outstanding character with good traits. So this is a protagonist. This is the main character. Okay. So the second is antagonist. The character is opposed to the protagonist. So antagonist, this is an enemy of the protagonist, or call that in Tagalog as a kontrabida. Confident, the character upon whom the protagonist confides or relies for support. So in number three, this is the allies of the or ally of a protagonist. And the fourth one is foil, the character who serves as a contrast to the protagonist or any other character in the story. So this one is uh, for when you call that as an extra ko sa ano, kumbaga. Okay? And the fourth one is unseen or absent character. Uh, this is also an extra, but they don't have a dialogue. Like if the scenes in the beach or whatever, and you can see there's so many people, but they don't have a dialogue or scripted to to show the movie. Okay, and the fifth one is dynamic character, a character who changes his personality as the story progresses. So in number five, this is the character that when we call this a trade. Oh yes, kumbaga traidor. Ganun. So in the first as in the beginning of the movie, you can see there a uh, this person is ally of the protagonist, but in the um, going in the middle of the climax and falling rising, this person become a traitor. So and first the movie is ally with the protagonist, into the uh, climax, he became an enemy of the protagonist. Again, protagonist is siya yung bida. Okay? Then sa number 5, this is a traidor. Number 6, static character. A character who remains the same kind of person as the story progresses. So, for example, this is a father of protagonist. So, it remains all the same in the movies until the end of the story. And 7, round character. Character who shows varied and sometimes contradictory traits. So this one is parang mga extra lang din siya. Like that. Okay, so take note of these 7 types of character, because if we have an exam, this will be a review. Okay. So, next one is plot, the series of events or action that compress the story. Plot is a literary term used to describe the events that make up a story or the main part of a story. These events relate to each other in a pattern or sequence. The structure of novel depends on the organization of events in the plot of the story. So, plot, like that. So types of plot, linear plot. By the way, plot is a the beginning of the story and what's the like that's rising and the climax into denouement or denouement. Okay? So this is the types of a plot. First, we have linear plot. The plot which chronologically shows events in their proper order from exposition. So means exposition, this is the beginning of the story, and the rising action, it means the problem where the start and the climax become a difficult situation. In falling action, it becomes a, by the way, what we call that in English. So we can call that Tagalog is dissolve the problem. Okay, and then the denoma, or we can read that as denoma. This is the result of the solution that we give in falling action. Okay. So next, in media rest. The plot which starts in the middle of the story and provides flashback to promote readers' understanding of the story. So you can see the movie like this. In the start becomes a action directly to the climax, to the falling action, or in the falling action, the flashback, the story what happened, or this is the start. It start from the problem. Problem in the this one. Okay. The linear plot. A story start with exposition. So in exposition, there's no problem. There's a ordinary. So in media res, so they direct a rising action. So in the rising action, this is the problem directly into the climax and the falling action and the flashback. Uh, can you watch the movie of Six Underground? I think it's beginning with this movie as an example of this plot types of plot because it start from rising action into the climax and the falling action into the denouement. So there is a bank robbery, and then each member. So in the falling action, the flashback about the story of that member. So it's too hard to understand because. And the third one is a circular plot. Okay, this the circular plot. You start a first quarter, second quarter like a. Okay. It is only a structural ends in the cycle. Oh. Next is a primary elements of a plot. First, we have exposition. Yung sinabi ko kanina, just as I said earlier, exposition and the initial part of the plot in which the settings and the characters are introduced. So, just like what I said, this exposition, this a normal character, a normal scenes. And the rising incidents, the events led in completion, there was a problem. Okay, so there is the complication, the plot to which conflict develops, and the crisis, they become a problem. And the climax, the highest point of the story during which the readers know how to conflict will be resolved. So the climax that is the middle of the story that have a difficult situation and they have to find a solution to fix it. Okay, for the following incident is the event incident that leads the conclusion have a suspenseful moments for the most part gives the reader a sense of completion. So example, this one is uh, in the movie there is the solution they fight they do the solution that they think in the climax. And the fifth one is resolution or